Before I came here to Dunbar, I was going to be on the basketball team, but once I heard about aviation, I basically turned that down.
14-year-old Zaire Horton wants to be a pilot on private jets. But 6 months ago, he had never considered a career in aviation. He never dreamed he would learn to restore this vintage airplane, let alone train to one day fly it.
With the auto gyro.
Zaire is one of 3 students in a new aviation program at Dunbar Vocational High School on Chicago's South Side. Students at Dunbar can learn to be chefs, medical assistants, auto mechanics, and more. Principal Gerald Morrow says he's thrilled with the new opportunity this offers his students.
We are extremely proud of the aviation program. There's a buzz on the south side of Chicago where we've actually been recruiting students. When we had our last teen summit, this room was packed with 8th graders. They are intrigued how someone 14 years old who looks like them actually has flown an airplane.
This is not the first time Dunbar has taught aviation. From the 1950s through the 90s, students at Dunbar and several other Chicago high schools could become licensed aircraft mechanics.
It was a really successful program. A lot of the early African-American mechanics at United Airlines started here in the vocational schools.
Umberto Rico is a pilot and aircraft mechanic himself. He created this program just 4 months before we visited. And it is his gift to the school. Umberto not only donates his time, but all the necessary tools, including this flight simulator. He's also brought along his personal collection of vintage aircraft.
I'm not a rich person, I'm an aircraft mechanic. So, like a lot of Americans, I live beyond my means, right? But I couldn't help myself, you know.
Why? Well, Umberto has been passionate about airplanes since he was a kid, but now he's a man on a mission to tell the world about a mostly forgotten chapter of aviation history, one that happened here in Chicago. Like many of us, he'd heard of Bessie Coleman, the Chicagoan who was the first African-American woman to hold a pilot's license. But when he dug further, he was amazed at what he found.
A lot of the history, most of the important history in aviation for African Americans started in Chicago.
During the 1930s, a group of black aviators led by Cornelius Coffey, Willa Brown, and John Robinson were responsible for many firsts in aviation. They created the first black-owned airport in South suburban Robbins. They opened the Coffey School of Aeronautics to train African-American pilots and mechanics, but the classes were integrated to make a point.
Every 10 students that I took, I had 1 white student and 1 girl student in that unit. What I was trying to do is to prove to our government that we not only could teach white students and they could fly together. See, they always told you that you couldn't integrate them. I said you could.
And they founded the National Airmen's Association to promote the idea of African Americans being trained to serve as fighter pilots in World War II. Umberto wanted to tell the world, so he created a kind of mobile museum to share what he'd learned. And after a few years of telling people about the history, he created the aviation program at Dunbar. And it's no coincidence that Dunbar is the high school he's chosen. Because not only was there once an aviation program here, that program was founded and run by Cornelius Coffey himself.
He was teaching here, that's what got my interest, because he was at this school, and I ain't know nothing about it.
But it gets better. Because this plane that the students are restoring, this actual plane belonged to Cornelius Coffey.
He bought this plane when he started to work at the school in 1953. It was in museum condition. We could have put it on display, but I thought an airplane, Mr. Coffey's plane, has to fly again. So we're bringing it back to flying condition. We're restoring it and going to recertify it, and then we'll put it in the flying club of the school. So the young people that are part of the program can then fly Mr. Coffey's plane.
So while the students are working toward becoming licensed aircraft mechanics, they're also learning to fly. And at age 14, they've already had their first lessons.
The first time I flew, it was surreal. Like, words can't really express how I felt. It was more like a dream. But once the engine cut on, I was like, oh yeah, we really about to do this thing.